three of my favorite running back values over at Underdog. We're running a promotion with Underdog right now in the preseason. If you're a new Underdog user, you get a first-time deposit bonus up to $100, as well as a free 6-month subscription. RotoWire.com. Now is the best time of year to have a RotoWire subscription, and it's the best time of year, of course, to play on Underdog. You can do NFL drafts. You can get some NBA drafts in as well. I've been hammering both of those. To get that offer, just use our promo code. You see it at the bottom of the screen here, RWNFL. That's RWNFL. First-time bonus up to $100. Get that free 6-month RotoWire subscription as well. My first favorite value at the running back position, Derrick Henry. 22.4 is the ADP for Derrick Henry. Late second, even into the third round in a lot of Underdog drafts. And look, I get it. The miles are piling up. Nobody's had more usage than Derrick Henry over the last few years. The wheels could fall off at any point. It happens to almost every running back. But to me, Derrick Henry is almost in his own category. I don't think he's beholden to normal running back physical standards. I view him more as an Adrian Peterson type. And I get the downside. He's 29. He's led the NFL in carries in 3 of the last 4 years. He would have led it in carries the year he got injured. He's 2 years removed from that foot injury. If he gets hurt, like any running back you're taking early, your fantasy team's in big trouble. But I also feel like we've collectively decided that he's just going to get hurt this season, so everybody should avoid him. I'm going the other way. I think he's got one more good year left in him. I don't really see the signs of any physical degradation from Derrick Henry, who was second in yards, second in touchdowns, second in yards from scrimmage last season at career highs in both receptions and receiving yards. And of course, as always, he was number one in the NFL in yards after contact. He did all of that in an offense that could not throw the ball for almost the entire season and got increasingly predictable as the season went on. Number 2 on the list, Joe Mixon, the Cincinnati Bengals. 46.1 is the ADP for Mixon. Might not be completely out of the woods in terms of some legal issues, but he's got the contract figured out. And to me, that's the big one, right? There was a time 2-3 months ago when it looked like Joe Mixon might be a free agent, might have to find a new team. He's back in Cincinnati and what could be the best offense in the AFC. So that is a big plus for Joe Mixon. He's going around pick 50 right now in Underdog drafts. To me, still very, very clearly the number one back in what should be a great offense. No more Samaje Perine for the Bengals. They did draft Chase Brown out of Illinois in round 5, but to me, he's still a very clear backup to Joe Mixon. And it felt like Mixon had a down 2022 season, right? I think that's part of the reason he's going later in drafts. He still finished as a top 10 back, had a career high 60 catches for almost 450 yards on 75 targets. I love getting him around pick 50 in my Underdog drafts. To me, again, clear number one back in a really, really good offense. I think there's some potential for TD progression for Joe Mixon in what could be his final borderline elite season. Aaron Jones of the Green Bay Packers, 53.3 is the ADP for Aaron Jones. This is a guy who was the RB9 a year ago. He finished as a top 35 player overall in PPR leagues. He's going as the RB17 right now in Underdog drafts. The Packers had some ups and downs last season, a lot of downs, especially relative to most of the last decade, but they were a league average running team, and they only had 12 rushing touchdowns. So like Joe Mixon, I think there's room for some touchdown progression for Aaron Jones, as well as A.J. Dillon behind him. I think the offensive line for Green Bay should have more continuity, should be healthier this season. The big concern, of course, no Aaron Rodgers, but maybe that leads the Packers to leaning more on Aaron Jones, especially early on. And even with Rodgers last season, the Packers were not a high-volume passing offense. They were not a high-volume scoring team. They averaged fewer passing yards per game than the Jets, the Saints, the Raiders, teams like that. So if you're concerned about Aaron Jones in the passing game, I don't really know that those concerns are founded. He was still 6th in receptions among running backs last season, had an 81% catch rate when targeted. And again, I get the Jordan Love concerns. We have no idea if Jordan Love is going to be a good quarterback. But at the same time, Jones was not playing with peak Aaron Rodgers last season. Aaron Rodgers was basically an average quarterback. So if Jordan Love can just give the Packers an average or even slightly below average season, I don't think there's any reason that Aaron Jones should be falling this far in Underdog drafts. He might be, pound for pound, my favorite value on Underdog right now. All right, that'll do it. Those are my 3 favorite running back values over at Underdog. Again, if you're a new user to Underdog, go sign up right now. Get that first-time deposit bonus up to $100, as well as a free 6-month subscription to RotoWire.com. All you got to do, use the promo code that you see on your screen right now. That's RWNFL. Again, RWNFL.